I am the travel and logistics coordinator for Embark, and we are here to learn about the Huayhuash Circuit in Peru. I love these mountains. I love Peru. I'm super passionate. Been there about 5 times in the last 2 years and can't wait for my next time. And I am super excited to kind of share that with you, share my knowledge and passion, and give you a little bit of a glimpse into the Huayhuash region in the central Andes of Peru. I thought we would get it started off right with a kind of fun, inspirational video from a couple groups that we had going this past summer.
You guys, there's mountains on this side too.
No way.
I'm absolutely loving hiking so high because you're just in the mountains day after day after day.
This you cannot beat.
If you guys think this is beautiful, you should see Iowa.
This is a mist created by a huge avalanche into the lake. Oh, it's snowing!
It's amazing.
I have a friend who I'm bringing back from the Huayhuash.
We've acclimated to the altitude and the views are spectacular. Every single place I look is a vista that I just can't believe I get to see. So when we talk about hiking ROI, like how worth every footstep is, this thing knocks it out of the ballpark. This is such a great hike.
Yeah, the guides are awesome. They are caring. They ask us if we've got enough water. They set up a meal. We arrived here and we have chairs to sit in under the shade.
Okay, here's the donkey train. And somewhere in there, trying to go to the bathroom. Getting a little less hidden in our pee breaks.
Look away! Look away!
Don't pretend like you're that shy. And you'll notice how far away from camp she went.
You know, I would rather hike than own things.
It's so true.
You know what? We don't...
I was trying to be fast.
It's the yellow tent!
I love that yellow tent.
Gotta say, the only thing that could make up for sitting next to a cow pie is that view.
That was the hardest thing I've ever done. Thank you. Thank you, Embark. Thank you, Embark, for challenging me. So now I never have to do anything like that ever again.
Oh wait,
Tomorrow.
we got one tomorrow. Well, 6 a.m. on our last day in the Huayhuash. And as you can see from behind me, couldn't have picked a better spot for our last campsite. It's been a great 9 days trekking around the Huayhuash region, and we couldn't have been luckier with our weather. The scenery was unrivaled, seriously. So hope you can find time to get out and experience the Huayhuash because it is definitely worth it.
You guys, there's mountains.
Okay, so hopefully that gives you a little glimpse into what it's like to hike the Huayhuash Circuit. Pretty spectacular, pretty involved, pretty amazing. Here's some kind of high-level facts about just trekking in Peru in general, if you've never been. Trekking season, weather. keep in mind that Peru is somewhat equatorial, and so when you're talking about the weather, you're talking about wet season versus dry season. Dry season in Peru runs April through October, with July being the driest month, but also the coldest month. And that does come into play because most treks in Peru are at high elevation, so it does get colder at those higher elevations. In order to kind of really take advantage of things, you do need a minimum of 10 to 11 days in the country. And 2 or 3 of those days are built-in days for acclimatization because it's really important to give your body time to get used to that elevation. There's a high rate of failure for those who don't take the time to properly acclimatize. The trek details specifically, this particular region is more known for hiking, climbing, and mountaineering, and less about kind of the more Machu Picchu culture portion of things as with respect to Peru. It is a destination for mountaineers and hikers from all over the world, and that has gained it a rating of one of the top 10 treks of the world. It really is magnificent. It is 8-hour drive north of Lima, 1-hour plane ride. They recently reinstituted the plane routings up into that region after COVID, so that is very nice and convenient. Our route is a 9-day route, hiking the circuit, eight nights at almost 60 miles. It's very comprehensive. It crosses 7 passes over 15,000 feet. One of them is over 16,000 feet. So each day has its own kind of obstacle and then subsequent reward. It's really rewarding in that respect. It's the remote high elevation hiking that is a huge mental and physical challenge because of the length and duration, but it does not require any kind of technical equipment. You're not going to be hiking with crampons, harnesses, no ice axes needed or helmets or anything like that, just hiking. Here is a little bit of a visualization on the map of where we're talking about. You would fly into Lima, everyone flies into Lima, and then we cruise up into Huaraz, which is our base where we do our acclimatizing, and then we drive south past the Cordillera Blanca range. This is the main range, which has some of the country's tallest mountains, and the range that we will be in is a small little one called the Huayhuash Range down south of the Cordillera Blanca. And this is an overview of what our itinerary, how our itinerary is put together in its different components. We've got you arriving in and spending 1 night in Lima just to kind of get your footing and get used to any potential time differences and get you ready for that flight out to Huaraz the next day at 10,000 feet. So you're literally going from sea level to 10,000 feet and spending 3 nights there, 2 days doing acclimatization hikes that are a little bit shorter and not as strenuous, but they are at increased elevation. After that, we cruise out to the circuit and we do it. We do the 9 days, 8 nights camping in those gorgeous mountains. At the end, we come out of the mountains to this mountain town called Chiquien, where we spend a final night, a wonderful rest in a real bed, shower. It's wonderful. Before heading back to Lima for departure or perhaps an onward journey to an extension to Machu Picchu. This is the trek map. We come in here at Cardalhuayan and we go clockwise around the mountains here. These are the Huayhuash Range. So we're hitting multiple passes and usually 1 or 2 passes in between each camp. Sometimes no pass. That's a really nice day until we work our way almost completely to a full circuit, but not quite. And we pull out at Pokpa, our final kind of camp, and then drive out to Chiquien for that final night I was referencing. And this is just some imagery of what you can expect on one of your first couple days on the trek. It is, as you can see, Just really immense and in your face in a really great way. You're always in the mountains, no matter what, and they're quite striking. More imagery. And some more information about camp life, because our treks in the Huayhuash region are fully supported camping treks. What does that mean? That means that all of your gear is transported and set up for you. Everything from tents and mats and tables and chairs and our mess tent, to even your own personal belongings. You bring with you a big duffel bag full of your stuff, and we carry it with us from camp to camp. All that you're responsible for is carrying a day pack with your multiple different clothing layers, maybe some snacks and some water for the day. We take care of all of the meals while you're on the trip, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, all served in a warm mess tent. And we also provide a horse available to ride, just in case you want to hop on a horse. Every morning, you're greeted by our beautiful camp staff with warm coffee or tea in your tent. That's your wake up, is a warm mug of coffee or tea. And you have breakfast and lunch and dinner in our mess tent. Beautiful views all around. Sometimes it's such great weather that we don't even need a tent and we eat outside. And speaking of eating, Peru is known for its cuisine, and our cooks are really passionate. It's their profession. It's not just a job. They take a lot of time and effort to catering to us on our trip. We can cater to any food preferences, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free. Each day, our cook and our assistant cook set off before we leave camp so that they can skip ahead and set out a beautiful, nice lunch for us that they prepare on the trail. And then they pack up real quick and skip ahead of us, put some of us to shame how fast they hike so that they can get to our camp in the afternoon and start preparing our dinners for us. We also provide snacks every day that you grab and put in your day pack before you set off. This is an example of the scenery that you get to eat lunch at. All really good, healthy, filling, nutritious meals, as well as super tasty. And as a final treat at the very end, our cook puts on a in-ground barbecue that is very traditional. It's called a pachamanca, very authentic and a really great way to kind of culminate all of our exertions and our big journey, and a way to celebrate the final night. What does Embark provide in terms of pre-trek support? We have been around for a long time. We've run treks all over the world. We've been doing treks in Peru for the past 7 years, and we have really honed our operations. We provide really comprehensive pre-trek informational materials that kind of guide you through the whole process. We have a really comprehensive gear list that really just tells you every single thing that you need to pack. We have a very comprehensive training plan that runs you through from beginning to end, getting you adequately in shape for what is a very intensive conditioning that needs to happen in order to make you fit for a trip like this. And we also have a lot of video tutorials. We have a very in-depth YouTube page where you can look on there and find how people are packing their duffel bags and all of that. And then finally, we pride ourselves on being just really responsive. We're so passionate about working in Peru, and it's a very small staff we have here to just kind of cater to any kind of questions that you have along the way, so you feel properly supported. When you first sign up, you get access to a private landing page with all of your informational materials that kind of guide you along the way. And we check in with you about your training and your gear. And then about 6 weeks prior to the trip, we have our final kind of email communication, and 1 month prior, we have a comprehensive send-off call so that you feel adequately supported and prepared in your final kind of month getting ready for the trip. Kind of key overarching points about this trip in general is that it is, like the take homes, is that it is a unique route in some really, really monumental mountains. I was just out there in June. I've been there numerous times and it never fails to impress me. The depth of these mountains and how amazingly picturesque everything is. Everything is non-technical, but remember that training is important. 4 to 6 months prior to the trip, you do need to make sure that you're training properly. We have been working in this region for years and have curated the best guides and support staff that the region has to offer. These guys really are passionate. They eat, sleep, and breathe these mountains, and they are so keen to impart that passion on you. They will really take you as far as you want to go about learning about those local mountains, as well as their own Peruvian culture. Also, safety is a priority. It's always the top thing for us. We always have a plan B, emergency evacuation plans, oxygen, and we carry a sat phone. We got you. And finally, remember that this trip is a challenge, but it also is really fun. It's really bonding to do this with other people, spend time with each other, do something hard together, discover that you were meant to do hard things. We did a portion of this trek a couple of years ago with our kids. They did not do the whole trip, but we did do a few days, and I wanted to share with you how fun the trip can be.
Petey the pirate dog, the pirate dog, the pirate dog. Petey the pirate dog, he's come to play with you.
So that's Petey the pirate dog. Hopefully you will find him on your trip. He lives in the house really close to your first camp, and he's great and he's super friendly. One last thing before you go, don't forget that Machu Picchu is actually not that far away, and most people do tack on a post-trek trip to Machu Picchu because why not? You're in the country, it's only an hour-and-a-half plane ride from Lima, and it's usually about another 3 to 5 days on top of your other trip. You cruise into Lima, we pick you up, put you on a train out to the town at the base of Machu Picchu. You stay at a hotel down there, you go visit Machu Picchu, and then come back to Cusco for another day or 2 or 3 or more to kind of get a glimpse of that local scene, because it is quite unique and different than the mountains of central Peru, where you would have been. And this is a group that was just there recently. Super beautiful weather. And that is it. That is some information about the Peru Huayhuash Trek in the Central Andes. I hope that you got something from it. I hope I imparted on you some of my passion for it. It really is such a unique setting and place, and hope that you won't be afraid to reach out for more information or to touch base further. At this point, I have put some link in the chat for if you want to log on to a separate chat and just kind of ask me any questions that you have. I will be there momentarily, but for now, we're going to say thanks for coming, and don't be a stranger. Thank you.